Whether you just downloaded Counter-Strike or you are hard stuck low elo, today you are going to take something away from this video where I'm going to go over all the basics from Counter-Strike, from aim to movement and even must-use settings that help me go from being a noob to a pro. First, let's talk about arguably one of the most important parts of CS2, which is aim. The first thing you need is a good crosshair, so I'm going to recommend the donk style crosshair that everybody is using right now. Import that into your game through the settings menu and you will be using arguably the best crosshair inside of the game. Ultimately, it's going to be a preference, but way too many new players just troll themselves by using distracting dynamic crosshairs. Sensitivity is a bit more tricky as many factors are going to determine what you will want to be using. Your desk and mousepad space are going to factor into this, and I would strongly recommend giving yourself as much space as possible when playing CS2. Stop using those tiny little office desk pads and get an actual legit esports gaming mousepad. If you're a more active player, you are generally going to want a higher sense as well, but don't make the mistake of playing on too high of an EDPI. Your EDPI will be your mouse DPI multiplied by the in-game sensitivity. I find that having a range anywhere from 450 to 1500 EDPI is generally acceptable, with most pros sitting close to around 800 and 900 nowadays. For me personally, I use 400 DPI and 2.0 in-game, which is going to equal 800 EDPI. My biggest advice is just to stick to the sensitivity that you choose and never look back once you are comfortable. Moving into the basics of aim, let's talk about crosshair placement. It is so important to start to visualize the head height of your opponents so that you can just instantly click and kill them. Most maps have good visual indicators where you can line your crosshair up and get easy kills. Most new players run around the map looking at the ground or into the sky. The sooner you can stop doing this, the better it's going to be, so just start to visualize. Avoid holding angles too close to the wall. When you think an enemy can peek you fast, it's important that you give yourself some time to react. Hold your crosshair off the wall and you will have a better chance in the fight. Many new players do not understand how to peek angles. In FPS games, it's extremely important that you peek away from angles as much as possible. Whoever is closer to the angle being peeked or held is going to see the other person last. This means that deep swings will give you an advantage, holding angles deep is going to give you an advantage. Get away from that corner and you will spot the enemy's body before they get a chance to spot you. Movement is a huge topic that many new players just never truly grasp. The first basic is that your enemy will hear you if you are running around or jumping in this game. When you are walking or crouched, you will be 100% silence. It's important to make sure that you are not giving away your position for no reason. Many new players think the opponent's cheating when they are just being way too loud. You need to be able to move and shoot inside of Counter-Strike 2. The trick is that you are going to need to understand counter-strafing. This is when we are going to peek with A or D and then cancel our momentum with the other key and then shoot at that same exact moment. Many players will use a crouch while doing this to help them become more accurate and implement a diagonal movement with the peek. You can also spray a lot easier with this. This is going to be the donk slide. It is perfectly fine to crouch while shooting a rifle in CS2 as long as you are using A or D while doing so. I would almost never recommend crouching when you have an SMG unless you're maybe flanking your opponents and you need to line everyone up. And also just be really active and aggressive when you're using pistols and SMGs, as you're not going to get punished as much for moving. This video is brought to you by SkinsMonkey, the best CS2 trading site out there. Swap out your low quality skins for fresh new ones using all of their trade features. I love the filters that you can use to get the exact skin that you desire. I have personally used SkinsMonkey to build my inventory over the years. Right now, use my code CoJo at the checkout for an insane 35% deposit bonus. The best part is that you will receive a $5 bonus by clicking the link in the description. Let's get back to the video. Economy is also misunderstood by so many new CS2 players. Let me shoot off a few rules that you need to live by to help you grasp this concept a little bit better. Never save money on pistol round. It's too important of round to not buy armor upgrades. Always buy armor on gun rounds. You will die so much faster and have aim punch if you do not. Always buy an SMG or a rifle if you have won the prior round. Stop using just a pistol or like a deagle if you have won the previous round. Your money is also your team's money. Drop them if you have extra money to spare. This is not an individual game. Everybody needs to help each other so that we can get a good buy going into the round. Buy as much as you can from the last round of the half. You can't bring your money with you as you switch to the other side, so it's so important you just buy everything and drop extra flashes and util on the ground, extra guns for your teammates to rotate in and pick up. Counter-Strike is a tactical, objective-based game. Understand that going for kills all the time is not the best way to play. I see so many new players refusing to plant the bomb or defuse it in a retake on CT side. If you're low HP, you need to stop thinking about kills and more about positioning and how you can stay alive for your team. Thinking about the game through this lens of positioning instead of kills helped me grow so much as a player. As soon as possible, you should be getting good reps on the active duty map pool inside of the game. I would recommend playing competitive and choosing the maps Dust 2, Inferno, Mirage, Ancient, Nuke, Train, and Overpass when you are new to the game. Once you get enough experience to unlock Premier, then use that to train in high pressure live games. Ultimately, you're going to transition to a platform called Faceit, which is going to be a very hyper competitive environment used for you to grind to become eventually maybe a professional player. Roles are extremely important in CS2, but as a beginner, let's just break down some of the basics. Every team should have one opper. This is going to be the player buying the AWP or op and use it to snipe your opponents. If your teammates are already opping, it's generally better just to focus on rifling so that we can be more dynamic as a team. A lot of low-level games, just people start buying 4 ops, 5 ops, and it is awful CS. Oppers are in charge of high traffic areas on the map, and they are using a gun that can one-shot the opponents. Opping is relatively easy to learn, but the hardest role in the game to master as your opponents get better and better. Within the 4 other rifle players, you're going to have anchor players on CT side. Their job is just to defend one site with their life. They are going to be the last to leave and should be a rock. This is in contrast to the rotator players who are going to be floating around the map taking aggressive fights where it's needed. A team will generally have an in-game leader who should be calling plans for everybody to work off of, but this takes a lot of experience, so I'd recommend new players just soak things in and not focus as much on trying to IGL. On T side, you're going to have an entry who will take first contact when running into the site with the team. It's his job to make space and be the spearhead of an attack. This is in contrast to a support player who will be behind everybody throwing smokes and flashes to create pressure on the opponents. Every team is going to have a lurker who should be holding the opposite side of the map and just gathering info on what the CTs are doing. A good lurker creates a lot of pressure even if he's in a really passive spot. Communication is everything in CS2. Make sure you are very clear with your comms and tell your teammates how many enemies you spot and what is happening. Good communication is going to paint a picture for everybody so that we can understand what's happening. If you're rotating, say I'm going to this position, I'm leaving this. You are going to need a mic to play this game properly. Your low elo games will be plagued with horrible communication. That is why it's vital to be able to play off of your radar. This is going to show you all the information around the map and help you make decisions based on what you cannot see. So many players refuse to look at their radar and get upset when their teammates aren't telling them everything. Rise above the poor communication and play the game based off what the radar is telling you. You can use my radar settings here for yourself. Make sure you have all of your weapons and grenades binded to keys. Stop scrolling around or cycling to get through your inventory. This change alone made me so much better in the high stress moments as I stopped wasting time scrambling for my util. For me, I use my 2 side mouse buttons for a smoke and molly. I have Q for flash and 4 for my HE grenade. I use 1, 2, and 3 for my weapon slots, and it makes my life so easy. Also, make sure we are really getting a good understanding of how to use utility. Utility can be very intimidating to use at first, but trust me, with our flashes, we're able to blind our opponents and get free kills. With our smokes, we're able to block off different areas of the map. With our mollies, we can flush out positions, and with our HEs, we can punish areas where we know our opponents are playing. Your utility is how you get better at this game. You rise above good aimers, good players, and just frustrate your opponents by not even letting them play.
Absolute cinema.
Hopefully this guide gave you a good insight, good advices as to what you should be doing as a beginner inside of this game. If you want personal hands-on coaching, I do provide that, or I stream every single weekday on twitch.tv/CoJoMoCS, where I am trying to build and grow a big community of just players willing to learn and become better. I don't care what elo you are, I don't care what rank you are, I want you in there and I want to do everything I can. Join the Discord down below and let's keep working hard. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.